So imagine walking into a listing appointment and before you even sit down, the homeowner says, "We've been actually watching your videos for months." That changes the entire conversation because now you're not just another agent, you're familiar, you're trusted, you're recognizable. And in a trust-based business, that is a massive competitive advantage. And the crazy part, this isn't celebrity in the traditional sense. You do not need millions of followers. You just need relevance in the right market. And the agents who understands that are building a business that seems unfair. When I say local authority, I don't mean internet fame. I mean local authority, being the name that people recognize in your market, the face they've already seen, the person who already answers their question. Because here's the truth. People don't hire agents purely based on credentials. If they did, every licensed agent would perform similar. They don't, because trust is emotional, not logical, and familiarity creates trust faster than credentials alone. Think about your own behavior. If you've watched someone repeatedly, heard their voice, watched how they explain things, see how they think and seen how they think, you're already familiar with them. And that's exactly what content does. It repeats trusted exposure, and suddenly you're not pitching from zero. Now let's talk about what happens when this starts working, because this is where things get interesting. The first big shift, your conversation change. Instead of saying, "Tell me about yourself," you hear, "We saw your video. We loved how you explain things. You seem to really know this market." And that's massive, because instead of proving competence, you're reinforcing existing trust. Huge difference. Second shift, price resistant drops. Not because people suddenly love spending money, because trust reduces skepticism, and skeptical buyers compare everyone and everything. Trusted buyers move a little faster. Third, referral energy changes because recognizable brands are easier to recommend. People say, "You should talk to Jennifer," not, "Let me find that realtor's name." Recognition matters. So how do agents create this effect? Not by posting random content. That's where most people get it wrong. This requires intentional trust building content. For example, neighborhood tours, because people don't just buy homes, they buy locations. School district breakdowns, relocation guides, what 700,000 gets you, buyer mistakes, seller timing advice, local hidden gems, market breakdowns, community events, lifestyle showcases. And notice what all of these do. They reduce uncertainty, and that's everything. Because uncertainty creates hesitation, content removes hesitation. Now, here's the important part. This is not about going viral. This is where agents get distracted. You don't need millions of views. You need to be relevant. You need one ideal client matters more than 50,000 viewers. That mind shift changes everything. Now, honestly, most agents understand this intellectually. They know content matters. They never execute consistently. Why? Because content is brutal without systems. The first week feels exciting. The second week feels annoying. A deal blows up. Showings pile up. Editing takes forever. You miss a week, then another, then the strategy dies. Does that sound familiar? That's not a motivation issue. That's an infrastructural issue. And that's why random DIY content rarely creates local celebrity authority, because familiarity requires repetition, and repetition requires systems. This is exactly why we created Viner Studios, because I saw incredible agents with real expertise getting buried by inconsistent execution. Not because they lacked knowledge, because they lacked media infrastructure. So we built a system, a strategy, content planning, scripting, editing, YouTube optimization, short form repurposing, brand positioning, everything required to help agents recognizable authority figures without becoming full-time creators. And that's the goal. Not more work, more leverage. So if you're a realtor and your current strategy is post when I have time, you're not building brand equality, you're just creating noise. And in a market where trust wins, noise loses. If you want to become the obvious choice in your market, subscribe here. Connect with me directly at Viner Studio, because local celebrity isn't about fame. It's about a trust at scale, and that changes everything.